But
I have cleared this.
Not as many times as Republicans are actually trying to us.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
but yes.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the censors have approved this
Yes.
for television viewing. Yeah.
I got my biggest Trump shirt, and so that was a lot of tape I had to waste this morning covering the U.
And that is a lot of tape. Yeah.
And I don't want to cover it, but okay, go ahead.
Well, here's the good news.
Yep.
I have some positive news here. I believe that Joe Biden's minimum electoral vote count is going to be 270.
Yep.
I think that there's a very strong chance for 290, and that includes Pennsylvania. I think it could be 306 with Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a long shot that if you include North Carolina in that mix too, we're talking about 321. Although I'm leaning more toward the 270 than the 321.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's always this.
Effery.
There
yes.
is this that we
Yes.
need to be
Yes.
concerned about. Donald Trump and his team of red hat lawyers.
But-
and that's what this is.
Mom, you were one of my binkies on Twitter. You said Biden can still win this with multiple paths. I bet Trump dispatches his red hat lawyers everywhere to challenge everything. So effery ahead. This is not 2016. We always knew that we were going to be here. 62 million too many Trump disciples here. But you quoted James Carville, put your razor blades back in the cabinet. We're going to be fine. We're going to win this thing, I promise you. And you just said what we also knew, the longer this goes, the better it will look, which is exactly why they designed it like this, to F with the post office, to slow down the mail, to try to F with the rules about when ballots can be counted. We absolutely knew this was going to happen, and here we are, right?
Yeah. I believe that we all had our hopes and our desires for how this election would turn out, but it kind of superseded what our brains were telling us too. And our brains were telling us that this is going to be a little closer than we had hoped, and that it was going to take a while to count the votes. I mean, that's been baked into this process for months now, that we would have all these mail-in votes, that Donald Trump would try to swoop in with his lawyers and try to stop the vote counting while he was still ahead in some cases. That ship has sailed in Michigan. Joe Biden is ahead in Michigan now. He's on the verge of becoming ahead in Wisconsin. I think Pennsylvania is very strong in terms of the number of votes that are still outstanding. I think 1.4 million votes still outstanding, with Joe Biden getting something like 70% of the vote share among those.
Understand, as I've already quoted Ari Berman this morning, Bob, this was planned in advance by Republican legislatures who ordered them. They changed the rules so that they could not count the mail-in and absentee votes first. They said, I remember I said this yesterday on the show, Bob, they won't count them till today. So we knew we weren't going to have a result last night. So you're right. People are, the fact that, by the way, I'm not freaking out and I slept, and poor the baby of the family, Sean, did not sleep all night.
Not at all.
And he's like, well, there's a lot at stake. I'm like, this is your future, but it's going to be fine.
Sean, what was your quote?
It's terrifying. There's a lot at stake.
Terrifying, yeah. There you go.
If it were not against CDC regulations, I would hold you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I understand. I feel it.
And HR regulations as well.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. Those are I'm kind of fast and loose with.
Yeah.
I did motorboat him in Sexy Liberal.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't sleep, here's the secret. Here's my secret for when I can't. Stars all around, little birds.
Yes, birds
circling.
chirping.
You picked out on Twitter exactly what I did yesterday. That when Trump said yesterday, America. Oh, John Avarosas, our friend, said Trump just said America's worse than Russia, China, or North Korea. Happy Election Day, and you just said so. Basically, America sucks. Vote for me.
Yeah.
I still believe in America. I still believe America is going to pull this out. I mean,
Yeah, it's always alarming when the number of Trump supporters gets emphasized and thrown into our faces. But we've known this since 2015, 2016, when every time Donald Trump would scream something obnoxious, his poll numbers would go up. And that has certainly helped him throughout all of this. I mean, the takeaway, if you're a proto-Trumper, if you're an embryonic Donald Trump, is, hey, look, Americans will believe anything as long as you keep saying it. And it doesn't matter how obnoxious or counterfactual it is. If you keep saying it, Americans will believe and Americans will follow you.
Yeah.
And that's the real terrifying thing.
Yeah.
We all knew, I mean, especially those of us who have been listening to all the clips from his rallies and his obnoxious press conferences. We know who these people are and we know how dedicated they are. It's just a matter of now not only stopping the bleeding by getting Joe Biden in here, but also figuring out a way that we can long-term counteract this move toward idiocracy. That's
Yeah.
my biggest concern. It's not it's not Democrat, Republican. Oh, if the other guy wins, it'll be a little weird for a while, but it'll be okay. No, it's either the Democrats or this crazy QAnon fascist idiocracy on the other side.
Listen,
we can't screw around with that.
It's head versus heart. The whole reason I'm single, Bob. Yeah. Here's my point. Let's not make it about that. But we all know, this is, we all know how divided this country is. As many times as I sang "Papa, Can You Hear Me" and begged for a 1964 style landslide.
Papa,
Daddy,
can you hear me?
Daddy. We knew that in our head. Our hearts are like, oh my God, 64 landslide. That's not the problem. There was no Fox News back then with my dad and Goldwater. There was no right-wing radio. There was no two sets of facts. Like, we knew there was not going to be a landslide like that. We are, know, I mean, but you're right. When you watch these reliably red states turn red, you still go, wow, he's killed 250,000 of us. How many millions of us are out of work? I mean, you just go, wow, I guess it is so tribal, they just don't care, right? Whether, it's like, nope, voting for the Republic. I mean, he could not possibly be a worse president or a worse human. And you're like, that's the problem, is we are that, we're that tribal, right?
Yeah. Oh, and we have this dark, toxic underbelly in this country that seems to be metastasized in there. And, one of the reasons we're in this place with Donald Trump in the first place is because at one point or another, Roger Stone pinpointed a specific demographic, the sucker demographic. And he decided, okay, look, there are all these people who will believe anything. Look at them giving all to the traveling televangelists and so on, giving all their life savings to them. We can take advantage of this. We can exploit this audience. And that's what he started to do. Creates Fox News Channel, starts giving everybody confirmation bias who's susceptible to it, and has been able to manipulate a gigantic population of America. A serial rapist who created a cable news network has had such toxic and significant influence in this country. And that's what this is right now. Make no mistake, this is, and Donald Trump is riding that wave. Donald Trump has been borrowing the Fox News things from the very beginning and exploiting it and using it as his own, like he does with everything. Just take another building and slap his own name on it. That's
Bob,
what he's done
that
here.
Fake commercial you do where you punch yourself in the balls repeatedly?
Yeah, that's Alex Jones's punch yourself in the balls a COVID cure.
Yes. All right. So I need you to punch yourself in the balls and take one Joe Biden and calm down. Here we go.
Okay.
We're feeling good. We're feeling good about where we are. We believe one of the nets has suggested we've already won Arizona, but we're confident about Arizona. That's a turnaround.
Done.
We also just called it for Minnesota, and we're still in the game in Georgia, although that's not one we expected. And we're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. And by the way, it's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania.
Okay, this just in, Bob. Biden campaign growing confident they've beaten Trump. Here are 5 reasons why. They believe they've won Wisconsin, expected to be called this morning. Michigan vote by mail is insurmountable and will be called midday. Philly vote by mail will come in tonight or tomorrow. Georgia result midday or early afternoon. Nevada will be called tomorrow. So again, everybody calm down. It's interesting, Bob. It is interesting the spazziest person in America has to be the one to tell everyone to calm down, because I get it. I am not the voice of calm.
I thought that was me. I mean, I'm Captain Scary Pants here. I don't know.
I know.
I'm telling everyone to calm down.
But no, it's just, I was saying, I'm literally going with the Cook reports and the who's not partisan. He said this. Biden's going to win. It's a question of by how much, blah, blah, blah. Nate Silver says Trump still has a 7% chance of winning, puts, Biden's chances still at obviously 90% or something. So it's, again, Carville, obviously was out over his skis a little bit, and I took Jody Hamilton with him about, we were going to know for sure on election night. I think, again, that's like heart. That's what our hearts wanted and what we needed after these 4 years of chaos. But I think your head told you, no, this is the country we live in now. This is the data. By the way, that psychic someone sent me, right? Because you know me, I don't even go to psychics anymore. But this psychic in England that was that predicted COVID and predicted Brexit and whatever. Someone just sent me a story on it. But she's been right about it. And she said, remember this? she said the American election is going to be complete chaos. It's going to be a mess, but Biden's going to come out. Yeah. I mean, and so that's what it looks like. We knew this was going to be a mess. We knew Donald Trump was going to claim victory no matter what happened. We knew he was going to sue. This is his lifelong pattern. Yes, Bob. Effery. Yes.
It's right there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we were all looking at. I think, once again, I think our hopes, and I remember saying, I think it was here, maybe not, I don't know if it was on my show or here, but that watching all those early votes coming in, we kind of looked at all those earlier votes and go, well, like a kid at Christmas, oh boy, those are all mine. Those are all mine. Those are all ours.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite turn out that way. But then again, it's that early vote that is going to make a huge difference in all of this and put Joe Biden over the top.
Yeah.
But I think there was a psychological element to that. There was a psychological element to watching the polls. And I wonder if it depressed Democratic turnout more than it should have, though that's a hard argument to make given the vast number of people who voted for Joe Biden, the most people to ever vote for a presidential candidate in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
That's what Joe Biden has achieved so far.
Listen,
on his way to a victory.
The major vote they're trying to suppress is what is being counted now. Everybody just...
Yes.
Glenn
Kirshner just tweeted. Glenn Kirshner just tweeted, "The courts will hold. Let's do this."
Yes. This is what somebody said. The courts are holding by a thread. Trust me, there some of the effery, Bob, is Trump judges that, but that's what someone said. I believe Claire McCaskill said that this morning too. She said that we are holding by a thread, but the courts will hold. And just
the courts.
Yeah.
The courts. We are so screwed up.
Even the
country.
Republican judges in Texas, the Trump could not say, oh, yeah, it's okay to just throw out a bunch of votes that or drive in, even though they were promised. No, thank God there are still some institutions that are holding, which is what a lot of people are saying. So, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to win this. I mean, I think Joe Biden's going to win this. I just think we need to recalibrate our heads and our hearts to realize that this movement that created Donald Trump, this ridiculous deformed movement of American people that created Donald Trump, whether it's Fox News, whether it's the people themselves, they're not going anywhere. And we knew that, win or lose, they weren't going anywhere. They were just going to, the first law of the conservation of energy. Energy doesn't, isn't created or formed. It just transfers to a new form.
Yeah.